Hey guys, wanted to bring you another YouTube video on with the Warriors and Boston Celtics prediction for the finals. And so I actually have the Warriors in 6 or 7. Either way, I got the Warriors winning. I think Boston's not ready. They don't have enough experience. Matchup's going to be an issue. I think Tatum's going to be an issue for the Warriors, but with their starting five of the Warriors, it's pretty great. With Steph Curry, you got Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and pretty much whoever you want to toss, but Andrew Wiggins. They kind of call it the death lineup or the killer lineup because there's a big matchup lineup or nightmare. But if you could use some size, but they don't really have that much size, Robert Williams might give them some issues in that sense. I think it's going to be certain games going to be kind of sloppy. It's going to be like the old 90s grind it out type of playoff. I think there's going to be some blowouts there with the Warriors probably exploding, but I think game one is going to be really tight. I think game two, I could see Boston winning it, but I feel like game one, I could see the Warriors winning it, split, and then they're going to split again in Boston, and then I think that's where the Warriors could take 2 straight or 3 straight there. What else? I think it's kind of ironic that you have Kyrie Irving's old team and Kevin Durant's old team. That's where I kind of rooting for, in some sense. Like, I don't really like Kyrie Irving as a player or a person, to be honest. So I would have liked to see Boston to win, but I don't think that's going to happen. Either way, it's going to be painful, I think, for whoever's team win. It's going to be like going to hurt Kyrie's or Kevin Durant's legacy, because obviously kind of takes a shot that those players was like a cancer to that team, like a bad locker room type of teammate. So obviously that's obvious with Kyrie Irving, but Kevin Durant, I thought he was a great teammate when he was with the Warriors, and it was not a great decision, obviously, to leave Steph Curry in the Warriors for Kyrie Irving. Now you're looking at it, he's in a bad situation. So I could see the Warriors, especially if they win this championship, and it's amazing their dynasty. The last 6 out of 8 years, they made it to the finals. I mean, especially with the last 2 years, it's because they been plagued with the injury bug, and then you've had COVID, so that was difficult for that city to be able to have players to be able to practice and stuff like that. And then you had the bubble, so I think that also helped them, so they could actually draft very high and get the right players and pieces. And if they're not going to keep James Wiseman, because he's not really meshing well with that rotation and the way he plays with that system. Obviously, you got Jordan Poole, Kuminga, all the different players fitting very nicely long term. So, but like I said, it's going to be very great because you had all the starting five of the Boston Celtics all get a vote for Defensive Player of the Year. So I'm really looking forward to this matchup because it's kind of like you got number one defense versus one of the top offensive teams, but they're not any bad on defense either. So I don't think Boston's healthy enough. That's another issue because they had some injury bugs with that Miami Heat squad, and especially kind of with that game 7, it's kind of disappointing the way they almost lost that game. If Jimmy Butler hit that game winner, we would be talking a different situation. Actually, if Miami made it, it would have probably been a 5-game or even sweep, to be honest, because they were limping in. And kind of gives more credit to Miami on how they close out that series. Sometimes a team that loses that way, it kind of shows a lot about them and how the winner should have had that opportunity to close out with a bigger lead, and it should have never really gone to Game 7. So that's where the experience of the Warriors, I feel like, is going to take advantage of something like that. And that's why you kind of saw them close out their series a day early so they could get that extra rest too. So that could be beneficial for an older team. So definitely looking forward to Game 1. Like I said, my prediction, either Game 6 or 7, but I would imagine with them, even if they go to Game 7, they wouldn't mind, because then they're going to have a celebration in San Francisco for this title. And my MVP winner, I would say Steph Curry finally gets one. If not, I don't think Klay Thompson is 100% yet to get the MVP. I don't see Draymond. The other person that could be an X Factor is Jordan Poole to get that MVP. So those are my two MVP favorite. If Boston wins it by any chance, I could see either Tatum, Brown, or Marcus Smart, because those guys have to be a big factor against the Warriors to make a difference. Especially, I think, if Marcus Smart wins it, it's because he's going to be guarding Steph Curry to make a big difference in that sense for that plus minus. So go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. Let me know in the comments who you predict is going to win the finals and in how many games. And together we can build better tomorrow. Thanks.